Well, when we're down at Myrtle Beach, we always spend depending on which team it is, we spend the day watching the football either at our condo, and my son godparents live they live in Murrells Inlet, which is just south of Myrtle Beach, and we go down and visit them, and we have a mutual friend down there who is retired from the corrections department, and we go to his place a lot of times. They call it the 50-yard line in his recreation room to watch TV there. Everybody brings a dish to pass, and then, of course, we'll have some libations, some sodas, and occasional beer to drink with it. And it's occasions like that it's really beneficial for me to take the Prilosec OTC because it enables me to be the big shot. We have dips, or we'll have chicken wings, and my best, of course, is my Sloppy Joe. That's a recipe my mother always made when we were young, and I picked it up from her. We always will have that during a game. Of course, you're gonna have your basic chips and pretzels and dips and beer, of course. We'll naturally I'll have a couple beers, never overindulge, of course. We have what's called the beef dip. That's where we take a loaf of either pumpernickel or rye bread, and we'll cut the center out of that, and then we'll take cream cheese and sour cream and mix that all together, and then take dried chipped beef, cut that all up in little chunks, and the green onions or the leeks, people call them different things, cut that all up and then mix it all together, and then you put it into the bread. It becomes like a bread bowl, and you put that in there, and then you take the other bread that you cut that up in little chunks and use that for dipping. That's another one of my favorites. Of course, you can tell by looking at me, I've got a lot of favorites. I'm not what you would call a from-scratch cooker. I learned to cook from my mother, and a lot of hers were recipes, but a lot of the different family things were a scratch thing she developed on her own. And like my wife's mother, I learned to make the meatballs from her. You take and mix the meat with a certain amount of garlic and a certain amount of grated cheese and a certain amount of breadcrumbs. Of course, they got to be Italian-flavored breadcrumbs. And then you bake them for a certain period of time, and of course, you always got to test one to make sure it's done.